Welcome to your live continuing coverage of InfoComm 2015, the Digital Signage Pavilion. On the Digital Signage stage, we are your live official continuing coverage of it all here at the Digital Signage Pavilion at InfoComm 2015, which is an amazing show. You've got to be here. This is the real theme park in Orlando. We're in Orlando at the Orange County Convention Center. Sure, there are other theme parks, but this is where the real magic is happening. I'm Michael Artsis. You're the Terrifics. Thanks so much for joining us. I've got a great guest on right now. This gentleman is from a company called DataVideo. They make some really cool products. Been around for 30 years, celebrating their 30th anniversary. Congratulations, DataVideo. And they make a slew of products. I think many of them you may know about. Many of them you don't even realize because their catalog is that full. It's unbelievable. Craig Moffat, thank you so much for joining us. You run DataVideo US, you do sales for Latin America, the Americas, and all sorts of different areas in the country and around the globe. You guys are growing. You do video switchers and you do PTZ cameras. Those are your two main products that I think most people know you from, but you've got a ton of other products as well.
Yeah, actually we have a, by the way, thank you for having me on.
And thank you for being on. And I guess I kind of glossed over, but congratulations, 30 years. That's a real achievement and a milestone.
Of course, I haven't been with the company that long. I've only been here less than 8 months, but it's a great company and I'm really enjoying my time.
And it's grown a lot under your vision, because I've seen it. You and I have talked from the very beginning of your tenure there, and I've seen how you've grown it and been able to get into new markets and emerging marketplaces, and we're talking about how this stuff can work for digital signage. I really believe live, you make some switchers and some PTZs, I really believe live has a big place in the digital signage space.
I do too, and I think content, of course, is king, and I think that's where we fit in. We have a complete end-to-end solution for live broadcast.
People, don't even necessarily think about this, but when they go to the ballpark or a hockey game, those scoreboards are digital signage. So there's a great example of where digital signage is getting a live feed. You can also wrap it with all sorts of graphics and information. So live does have a place, especially with a live video switcher like you guys make, and PTZ cameras work well because one person can control all the cameras.
So, yeah, there's a lot of different applications that we appeal to, the education market, the church market, like you're mentioning, like the scoreboards and those kind of things.
And so you do DataVideo throughout the US, Canada, Latin America, and DataVideo is one of the leading manufacturers in virtual studios, cameras, and before that you were the president of Applied Magic, and this was a company that made a video editing software as an appliance, so it was a whole setup, but that was your company, and you've gone from the post-production world into really the live production world.
Yeah, the post-production world, of course, is a totally different animal, but live production, you have to have, everything has to work.
Yeah, that is the key, right?
Right, in post-production you get a do-over, but in live production it's got to work. So that's kind of why I think, like our gear is all hardware-based.
Yeah.
And so you integrate it and it's all modular, so you plug it all together depending on the size of application you need, we can build it.
And so a lot of your stuff works behind the scenes and people don't even realize it's happening, and your stuff is modular based, so what's nice is I can use one of your products or all of your products together or separately. So I could use, like we're using right now, we have two DAC 70s. That's a product I like very much, because basically when we send a signal to a screen like is on set here, this is looking for an HDMI signal. We're coming out of our video switcher with an SDI signal. So we have to change that, but sometimes we have to go, instead of going just HDMI or SDI to HDMI, sometimes we have to go the reverse way. We have to go from HDMI to SDI, and sometimes we want to put a VGA signal in or some other kind of signal, and your box all in one, it's like the Swiss Army knife, right?
That's what we like to call
because
it. The DAC 70 is what we call it.
DAC 70, it goes every single different direction. We've got two of them that we're using in the back now.
One of our more popular products. It fits into any application. It doesn't have to be a DataVideo workflow. It can be we're competitors.
We're not using a DataVideo workflow here, but we're using the DAC 70 to two of them.
That's an example right there of our modular capabilities.
And I actually had to come over to you and ask for another one the other day, because one of the ones we had from somebody else, not a DAC 70, but another transcoding device, didn't work.
Fortunately we're right next door. I appreciate that. So if you come by to see Michael, you can come by DataVideo right next door.
So we're at booth 5187. Please come by. We have space for you guys to sit and watch as an audience, and then you can go visit DataVideo. So you've got some other products that are really cool. You've got an encoder with a cloud-based solution that can go point to point to a decoder. So basically an encoder is a transmitter, a decoder is a receiver. So I could take my signal from a camera or from a video switcher or a video player and send it to the decoder somewhere else and plug that into a video switcher or a monitor or something else. This works well in digital signage, and you could also stream to the internet from the encoder as well to a CDN. So why don't you walk through the box, because it's got a lot of interesting features that I didn't even hit on.
Yeah, here's an example right here of kind of our modular setup. Actually, we have a, well, I'll show you this one first. This is the NVS-25.
Okay.
And it is a encoder and recorder, so it's got a little USB port on the front here, and you plug the USB port in to record your stream. What
I like about this is if we had this in this workflow, I could put a USB stick in, I could record each interview separately as a web stream, an H.264 version. I could, after every interview, be uploading it already to YouTube as an archive to our YouTube page or wherever we want on the web, to an FTP or whatever else, so that we already have it. I could also take that flip drive and then hand it to the guest and say, here's your interview.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love to do that in the future.
In fact, there's a little button here on the front that just you push here and it starts the recording, you push it again, it stops the recording.
Right.
So you have complete control without even touching the computer.
Right.
So on the back, you see it's got.
And that could be additional to our workflow already, because that could just be a feature we use. We don't have to. We make some major master recordings that are really high quality. This is a web quality thing.
Web quality,
H.264,
yeah.
Which is, by the way, plenty good.
Yeah, and this it goes up to 6 megabits per second. So that's usually a decent size.
Yeah, it's pretty
quality
good
for the web. And it has SDI and HDMI inputs. All your and XLR inputs, so this comes right off your switcher, right into here for your recording, and makes it real simple. A lot of times a PC doesn't have these type of inputs for encoding.
And hardware encoding is really, from what I read, is the best. It's really important.
It's more stable, that's for sure.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. Okay, so you have this. So now you have, say you're a church or something like that, and you want to be able to go to a remote church location on the other side of town.
So you don't want to stream to the web. You could stream to the web, but now you don't want to stream to the web. You don't want to stream this to everybody in the world. You just want to stream it to another church.
Right, another church, right.
Yep.
So you have, right now you're using live stream for your CDN. That's great, but a lot of people only want to have a few people they want to send this to.
Right.
So what we have is a decoder on the other end. And that's the, that's the wrong one, sorry. The decoder looks the same size. By the way, these are half racks, so it's 1U rack that you can put it in like that. So it makes it a lot easier. So this decoder will take the signal, and then you can connect it to your monitor, then whatever your projector or wherever what you have set up. But the cool thing about it is we have a software program that will give you. It's a company called DigitalOcean. It's a competitor to Wowza. And the software we give you allows you to load it onto one of their virtual servers in the sky. And for that software program, and you pay $5 a month for a terabyte of bandwidth.
Wait, only $5 a month?
$5 a month is
and a terabyte, I mean, because you're not streaming to everybody, you're only streaming to one point, so a terabyte's, it's a lot for that.
Yeah, it's, you know, you can record all day long for one point. If you got 2,000, you can still get about 4 or 5 sermons out a month for that price.
Wow.
You can buy another $5 for another terabyte, so it's not a big deal. You can just buy more bandwidth if you need it. But so that idea of going point to point is real attractive to a lot of digital signage applications for churches, for schools, they have a lecture and they have different classrooms that they want to go to. All they need to buy is a $375, for $375 you can get the decoder, our encoder, which you only need one of, because you only need one encode one time and then it's streamed to the various locations, that's $800. So when you think about it, you could have your own IPTV solution for basically $1,100 and $5 a month.
Or you could take the decoder and put it on the back of a TV, and now you have a digital signage solution as well.
Exactly, like if you're...
And you could probably put multiple decoders to tune to the same encoder, so you could put them on multiple TVs.
Yeah, I mean, think of it, a mall, you never see any...
All very reasonably priced.
You never see any live applications in like a mall or something that have digital signage, but I think that's an application that they should look at, or some are looking at more live applications. they're doing a fashion show or something, they can have the whole mall having that live event going on with one of these. And you know, and if you have a player, we have also a player if you don't have that. So our player will just loop the video, and it has an FTP site. You can download your video, force it down onto this, and save it onto a thumb drive, and then play that.
Wow, that's great. So you can play it on the player and also save it onto a thumb drive.
Yeah, so it has so on the back it has USB ports on it.
Multiple USB ports.
Multiple USB ports. So you can have different thumb drives, and then if you want to send a file down to it, so you don't, let's say it's in a workflow.
This is crazy. This is really involved and great, easy to use. But I mean, like, you guys have thought of everything.
Yeah. So
and you could even use this. You could use this with into a video switcher. All of this stuff, because that could be a playback device for video switching.
Well, to be honest with you, we developed it for our switchers for a media player, for it to hook right into our switchers. But more and more people found other uses for it, including digital signage. And we found this to be a very good solution for $375 as well. This is a $375 box for a player that will loop and will be able to receive video from an FTP site. So, you know, sometimes you manufacture something for one purpose and the market tells you it belongs somewhere else. And,
right. Well, and it works for both then, which is great.
Yeah.
And then you've got, I mean, the product catalog, it never seems to end. You do all sorts of virtual sets and green screening, and you have lights, and you've got a mobile studio pop-up that is part of the catalog. And that's the one thing, is I think people don't realize how robust your catalog is.
Yeah, like I said, it was anything you could think of that you would need for a live production that you plug into the wall, we make. I mean, we really do. We manufacture those things. And so the nice thing about that is they all plug together, you know it's going to work. You know, you look at the complete diagram of a workflow, all of it, if you spec a DataVideo product, it's going to work. Because of we've already tested it that works together. So a lot of times if you go to different companies, different manufacturers, you're not quite sure if this product's going to work with this product. And they do the blame game and say, hey, it's their fault, it's not working. And
but now you know that
it
all
us,
right, because it all integrates
call
together.
to us and say it's not working.
And like I said, you could have all of your products, or even just one of your products, which is nice.
Yeah.
You guys have been in business for 30 years. How'd the company get started? That's got to be a great story. And I met Jack, the CEO,
Jack
yesterday. That was a pleasure. That was lovely. What a nice guy.
He's a very nice guy. He's Taiwanese, and it's a Taiwanese company, and he started manufacturing very simple products for the, to be honest with you, I don't know his whole story. Like I said, I've only been in the company for about 8 months, but he's grown it from a garage, you know, and basically built the company up as it is today. We have 8 different locations, or like mine here in the US, we have 8 other locations throughout the world. And it's a growing company where we're adding new lines all the time. Like you said, PTZ is a fairly new product for us, but it's doing very well.
Yeah.
It fits right in with our switchers and our recorders and everything else.
And out of a garage in Taiwan, it's like he should have been in Palo Alto or something, but that's pretty impressive. Out of a garage anywhere is very impressive, and that's a great story. And it was an honor to meet Jack, and I think 30 years is really remarkable. It's hard to be in business 30 years these days, hard to be in business at all, and to continue to reinvent yourselves. Now, I came in contact with DataVideo for the first time when I was in broadcasting school, the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, in 1990, I shouldn't even say this, in the 90s.
Okay.
I don't want to... I don't want to date it. Yeah, and so their video switchers were DataVideo video switchers, and color correction tools and all sorts of other things. So that's how far back I go. We were learning to cue records. I think we were officially the last class to learn how to cue records.
To be honest with you, we actually sell a lot of standard definition switchers and
really?
Devices, even now. I mean, I'm amazed that a lot of people still use those devices, but maybe we still sell them because we're the only one left that still has them. Right? So if you need SD, we have it, and we still have a market for it. But that's, of course, we have to evolve and change in order to stay in business for 30 years.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what we do. We try
and you guys have.
And we talk about new products all the time. Even at the show, we kind of walk around and look at something and say, how can we make it better? How can we?
And you work for a lot of verticals. You work for digital signage. You work for sports. You work for churches, education. You work for all sorts of verticals.
Yeah, any live event, AV event like this. It's perfect for us.
You know how hard it was to cue a record?
Back then?
Oh, cue a record, period. A record. You have to put the record on the turntable, take the needle, find the groove, and you got to find the track, but then you got to get it in the right, it's spinning, right? And you got to get it in the right spot, and then you got to, while you're doing that, you got to put up the fader, or in those days they had dials, so it's called a pot, and you turn up the pot, and then you have to turn up your microphone, kind of all at the same time, fade one down, fade the other up, and then you'd have to talk over the last songs.
You were a DJ?
I wasn't, but you had to train to be, right?
Oh, okay,
yeah. No, I never was, but you had to. That was Phil Collins coming up.
Now you got the voice for it, of course. So
that was Phil Collins. We're rocking the '80s all day long here. Billy Joel's up next, you know. But you'd have to then hit the post. So you talk the lyrics, you talk the music bed down. So as soon as the lyrics would stop, you'd start coming in, and then you talk up to the next, what's called the post, right when the lyrics start.
Oh,
yeah, that was while you're queuing a record. It's not like a CD where you track, track and pause, and then you'd hit play, and you know what I'm saying? You know, it's a lot easier on a CD. And now it's all digital. It's all files. I still know about all this technology, yet I haven't worked in a radio station in a long time, and certainly never DJ'd. Once I did it. I had a radio station. Once I filled in for somebody.
Well, you got your own podcast show now, so there you go.
All right, Craig Moffat from DataVideo. You guys make some great stuff. We're using the DAC 70 in our workflow. That's the transcoder. It transcodes our signal from HDMI, or SDI in this case, to HDMI, but it can go all sorts of ways. You got encoders and all sorts of great products. Everybody should check out datavideo.us. Lots of verticals you fill in for. So thank you so much for joining us on the couch. I'm Michael Artsis. This is your live continuing coverage of InfoComm 2015, the Digital Signage Pavilion, and we are the official. We're on the Digital Signage stage, and we're in Orlando, Florida at the Orange County Convention Center. Don't go anywhere. We have a lot more content for you here. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us.